So true. And it's just like every time I go to a different country, I kind of try to abide by the lays of the land. When I was in Colombia, um, I was just like, these people got 2 hour lunches. Who do that? Like, you see people out in the streets all day. And in my mind as an American, I'm like, oh, they ain't got no jobs. How they keep how they keeping a roof over their heads? But you know what? Just talking to them, it's just like they're like we live life differently. Tomorrow's not promised. So I'm gonna enjoy this 2 hour siesta with my friend. I'm gonna drink coffee. I'm gonna sit out here and I'm just gonna enjoy the life. They don't have the same mentality as we do in the United States. So every time I leave, I have to kind of get back into that groove of how they live life, right?
Welcome to Lovely Esteem. I'm Lovely, the auntie you always wanted, the sister girlfriend you didn't know you needed, honey. You got to have self-love to have self-esteem. And here we know that God don't make no junk. So we're going to sit down, talk about it, and see how we can fix it, baby. Let's do it. Hey guys, this is Lovely with Lovely Esteem, and welcome back to the Healing Through Conversations podcast. Today we have a special treat. We're going to talk about finances. I know you said special treat, and you was like, am I getting something? You are. Today we're going to speak to Miss Sandra Morno. I hope I said her name right. We are going to be talking about financial literacy, how to save money, how to work on your taxes, what taxes look like in a business format, ways to be able to save money so that you are really investing in your future. And I believe when I read her bio, she says she is team no code. She loves warm weather. So she's all about traveling, going to places, meeting new people, and really talking to them and getting them to understand that there is so much more than the 5 mile radius around your home. So I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. I loved talking about finances in the sense that I used to be afraid of finances because when you don't have a lot, you try to hold on to it and you don't know how to make that multiply, especially when your check isn't checking, if you know what I mean. But Miss Morno is going to teach us a little bit more about taxes, financial literacy, and how we can save some bucks so that we can go on that bay when we 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 110. If I'm traveling at 110, people, look, listen, I'm going to start trouble because what? You're going to put me in jail? Anyway, enjoy the podcast. Hey guys, this is Lovely with Lovely Esteem, and welcome to the Healing Through Conversations podcast. I appreciate you guys coming back. I talked to you guys about diversity, and what diversity looks like is having conversations about mental health, but also having conversations about financial health, because financial health will play with your mental health. So today we have a wonderful guest, Miss Sandra Morno. I told her name was More Now because we want to know everything. But I really feel like, especially within the Black community, we're starting to have more honest conversations about finances. We're starting to have more conversations about living longer and knowing what longevity means and what retirement means, and realizing that that pension and Social Security may not be able to make you feel like you're secure at all. So having this conversation about finances, how finances play into your mental health, your physical health, how it plays into your retirement, and what that retirement looks like is super huge. On top of the fact that Sandra going to tell us about traveling because she wants us to get up out of our house. I don't know how I feel about that because I'm a house body, but we're going to work it. Thank you so much for coming to the podcast. Please tell us about yourself.
Thank you so much, Lovely, for having me on this podcast. So where do I begin? Long story short, I fell into this industry, right? 15 years ago, I was helping out a friend with an accounting firm, and I was actually working on my MBA because I wanted to be a sports agent. I had no desire to do taxes. Okay. I wanted to save those athletes because I just got tired of them. Oh my gosh, it's not doing well with their money. Anyway, so ended up working with that friend, and he saw something in me. He was just like, "You're good at this. You should just kind of keep going with this." You know what I mean? 2013, I got my enrolled agent's license, and just been kind of like a tax specialist ever since then. Honestly, I'm surprised I'm still in the industry. In 2013, I got a happy ram, is what I call it, from the IRS saying that I owed them money. And I was just like, no, I don't owe y'all money. So that threw me all the way off. And after that point, I was just like, I really need to help educate people on how to understand the tax code, take advantage of it, and let them know that they need to work with somebody all year long. But that's a whole nother conversation for another time. And then I was saying 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, January of 2021, I decided I wanted to travel. And 2018 is when I was just like, I don't want to be in the US anymore, but then God had some other plans. So it took me 3 years to actually do this. And since January 2021, I've been traveling. And I've been doing a Latin America tour, is what I call it, because I'm trying to get my Spanish on. And it's close enough because I'm from Miami, Florida. Um, and I've just been trying to help women entrepreneurs live that same life, travel, see what the world has to offer, because let me tell you, it has changed my whole perception of how I see life. And I know that all of us can do it.
I love it. I love it. And I love the fact that, because I think when we talk about financial freedom, it's like, what does that look like? Right. And a lot of the times people get stuck in financial freedom means that I can buy more, I can have all of these tangible things. But if those tangible things don't bring forth memories, if it doesn't help with your mental health, if it's not helping elevate the people in your lives, then it can sometimes feel empty because you'll keep searching for more money to buy more things, but trying to figure out, why can't I get this feeling that I'm looking for? And I think
Ooh,
that that's where people like you come in, because you get to talk to us about finances in a way that feels familiar, it feels friendlier, because it doesn't feel like somebody's talking at us.
right.
But then you give us a plan, give us a game plan on, this is how it works. Now I know what you're told, but this is how it works.
Yeah, I love that. And I had to learn that the hard way, because it's one of those things growing up in the United States. What are we told success looks like, right? What does financial freedom look like? And then it's just like that whole hustle mode, rat race, like work till you die. And then if you do retire, like you said, is my Social Security or pension gonna be enough in this day and age? No, ma'am. I am. It breaks my heart where I go to Publix or I go to Walmart and I see someone who should be enjoying their life, but they have to work. I mean, I know there's a whole bunch of reasons behind that. You just may want to be out and about, but some of them have to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think traveling, it changed my whole perception of what life is really all about. And just that financial freedom, it's important, but I'd rather peace of mind. I'd rather have a healthy work-life balance. I'd rather be able to eat some fresh foods. I'd rather be able to enjoy the day than running this rat race.
So what was your first step? Okay, so you fell into, even though I don't think we fall into it, like that was just your path. You didn't like it. The
Right.
package didn't come in, the package did not come the way we wanted it to. She said,
It
I
sure
got one of
didn't.
this from IKEA. Who ordered the tax package from IKEA? I didn't ask for that. I gotta put it together now and figure out if all these
Oh,
screws
man.
make sense.
For
But so once you decided, okay, I'm going to accept that this is the blessing that was given to me, I know I'm good at this.
real. Mhm.
What was your first trip that changed your mind and made you think to yourself, wait a minute, how can I scale this so it makes sense to other people?
So I don't think there was like one particular trip, right? I grew up, like I said, in Miami, so we always travel. Like cruises were a thing, at least
I
once a
love
year.
cruises. Woo!
Listen, let me bop to 5 different places, see if I like it, and then I can go back and be feeding me. I get to dance, I get to meet people. So cruises were a thing. I
Mm-hmm.
went off to college, and then came back to Miami, and I had that feeling like I don't want to live here no more. And my mom was always like, if you don't sit down somewhere, I moved to Atlanta 3 times. I tried to move to North Carolina. I moved to Houston because I was just like, there's more to the world than just Miami-Dade County, which is what people stick to. And then it was just like I hit a plateau in 2018. I was living in Houston, and I was just like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like literally, I started Googling places where can Black women go that's safe. I
Mm.
started asking my military friends, like, where can I go? There was like nowhere. And the Kuwait, Afghanistan area cut that out. I was just like, okay, so I was I was just doing research, and then Mexico kept coming up on the map, right? And
Mm.
Europe kept coming up on the map. So I was just like, I kind of want to stay close. And so it officially, honestly, began January of 2020. I was like, I'm going somewhere, I'm gonna step out. I told my girlfriend, and I ended up going to Morocco, of all places. She was just like, I thought you was gonna go to Panama or Mexico. How you going halfway across the world on your
Listen,
first
I got a
trip?
plan. I got a plan.
I didn't have a
A
plan though.
plan. That's what I said. I got a plan.
So I literally, when I got to the airport, I had a breakdown. I was just like, oh my God, am I really doing this? Am I crazy? Like, and the Delta attendant was so like, you got this, just breathe, it's gonna be okay. And after that trip, I came back and I was just like, okay, I could do this. And then of course COVID happened, so couldn't do anything else. But then in January 2021, I was like, full force, we out of here. So I took a month-long trip to Playa del Carmen, Mexico. I came back and I was just like, I'm ready to go. I don't want to live here no more. Like, we need to figure this out. And just I've been bopping around ever since. 3 months here, 6 months there, come back home, repack, let people touch me, feel me, and then I'm like, I'm out again. So
I
yeah,
love that.
that's been my life.
I love that, but that's such a rich life because not only are you introducing yourself to new people, you're changing, like people are changing the way you see the world, but you're changing the way people see your world,
Yeah.
because I think that when you travel and people get to see you outside of TV,
Hmm.
they're like, oh, like I know what you saw, okay? I know what you saw, but just so you know, I have never been on reality TV. The reality is that I don't know them people. I
Right.
don't. If I don't know them people, I can't claim them people on my taxes. That means we can't
Oh
really talk about
Lord.
them. But I
Yeah.
think that, like, even when I've traveled abroad, and then when people stop and talk to you, they're like, I don't know. I don't know how to speak to you because this thought that I had about who you were going to be and who you actually are
Oh my goodness.
doesn't
That's so true.
match. And I think
Yeah.
that that's something that people like talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, when I started traveling, of course, I tell my mom. And the first thing, what everybody sees on the news, right? Oh my God, Mexico, you're gonna get kidnapped. The cartel's gonna come after you. I'm like, Mom, like stop watching TV, stop watching the news, people. And which is why I had to stop telling certain people where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
Because how are you going to give me advice on something you've never experienced? All
Mm.
you can go by is what you see on TV, you
Mm.
know? So going to Mexico, of course, there were some apprehensions, but I'm like 5'9" and I'm a black. So I'm taller than a lot of these Mexicans. So they looking at me like, oh, I ain't finna mess with her. But I also know the language. I'm also trying to integrate myself
Mm-hmm.
into their culture. I'm not
Yes.
coming in there acting like an entitled American, right?
Yeah.
I'm coming in there like, I'm a foreigner. Let me, you know, give respect,
Yes.
understand what the rules of the law is in this land, keep
Mm-hmm.
moving forward. So for me, it was always it was intriguing. I got to practice my Spanish. And a lot of the times when I didn't know what to say, Google Translate would come out and they appreciate that I'm trying.
Yes. Because then
And
they
so,
want to tell you more. They want to explain more. They want you to,
exactly. And,
I always look for somebody's grandmother. I know that the
yeah,
grandmother's trying to figure out who is this woman. I'm
yeah,
like, listen, ma'am. First off, you're gonna have the bomb food, so we need to talk about it. Okay. Secondly, you're gonna introduce me to one of your kids who gonna be able to take me out because they watch TV and try to figure some things out for
yeah,
themselves.
yeah,
And I think that that part, like you said, like integrating yourself into the culture, it enriches your life so
it
much,
does. Oof,
but it also gives you an idea if you do or don't like something. Because
exactly.
if you stay in your circle, how do you know if you do or don't like it?
That's so true. That's so true. And it's just like every time I go to a different country, I kind of try to abide by the lays of the land. When I was in Colombia, um, I was just like, these people got 2 hour lunches. Who do that? Like, you see people out in the streets all day. And in my mind, as an American, I'm like, oh, they ain't got no jobs. How they keep how they keeping a roof over their heads? But you know what? Just talking to them, it's just like they're like we live life differently. Tomorrow's not promised, so I'm gonna enjoy this 2 hour siesta with my friend. I'm gonna drink coffee. I'm gonna sit out here, and I'm just gonna enjoy the life. They don't have the same mentality as we do in the United States. So every time I leave, I have to kind of get back into that groove of how they live life, right?
Yeah.
Argentina was even worse. They had 4 hour siestas, and I was just like, y'all pushing, y'all pushing.
said, no, ma'am,
Okay.
you're pushing it. Okay. I need you got 2 hours to enjoy your life and 2 hours to take a nap.
Yeah, pretty much. That
And
really
I'm sure
was
as an
how they
American,
did.
you like take it. Now, naps have become my hobby because if you give me a chance to take a little nappy nap,
Girl, same here. 30 minutes to an hour, I'll be like, oh, thank you, Jesus.
well, I get back up and be like, you can have all the work you want, but I'm still leaving at 5:15
Right.
at the latest. I ain't doing that. Y'all
Oh
trying to
my
make me
God.
crazy.
That's
But
too
I think
funny.
that traveling like that gives you it not only connects you with other people, it then sometimes makes you appreciate what you have once you come home.
Yeah.
Just the differences. It doesn't mean it's worse or better. It's just
Yeah.
the differences. And because I always think about taxes outside of the United States. I mean, we tax every damn thing.
Yeah.
And then they tax you on top of the tax that has the tax. That's attached to the tax. And I'm like, so how do taxes look on the outside? What does it look like? I mean, I've done some research before a long time ago because I was looking at the Netherlands, I was looking at Switzerland, and I was looking at like
Mm.
Ireland and how they're ran, one, because the women who were in charge, and I thought that was super cool, but how
Mhm.
they build the taxes into like everyday life. So yes, you might
Right.
have 40% tax, but like
Oof.
that's built into everybody has the 40% tax. It's not,
Right.
you don't, so how does taxes look outside of the United States?
So as a US citizen, US don't care where you are. They want their money, right? So
Mm. Okay, okay.
you have, you have to file your taxes. Like you may not owe, but you have to file, right? And there's so many little nuances in it, but they also give us grace, right? So there's the foreign earned income exclusion. So you can exclude up to $112,000 of W-2 income or any type of income on
Wow.
your taxes. But the caveat is you can only spend like 30 days in the United States. So pretty much you got to be gone most of the year. Now you know they're not just gonna give you that for free. So
Yeah,
that's one of the
how
main.
far are you gonna be home only 30 days? How you
You'd be surprised. I've had people who haven't stepped foot in the United States in like 3 years.
oh I
They use Amazon, they use all this other stuff, or they come home for like a week, see everybody they need to see, and be out.
they hit quarterly.
Yeah,
Got a week with me quarterly and then I'm
if
gone.
that. Right,
Yes.
right. So that they, don't have to worry about taxation. And that's a huge thing. Right
Yeah.
now, I have a client, she's in Turkey, but she works for the USO. She didn't come home for a whole year. So she's smart though. She was just like, I'm not withholding any taxes because they're not getting any of this money. But like if you plan ahead and you think about it, it works to your advantage. And then there's the foreign tax credit, right? Let's just say you are in a foreign country that is taxing you as well.
Yeah, that's what I was
Um,
wondering.
yeah, we have the foreign tax credit, so you're not double taxed. So
Got
you can use that credit. So you're only paying taxes in that one area. It kind of softens the blow. So United States does kind of care, but then they don't kind of care. So, but there are options out there for us to just take advantage of. It's all about learning the system and working with the right person that can help
Yeah, and because I know that I when I travel abroad, it's just regular vacations.
you.
And the older I get, the more I want outside. But I
Mhm.
want outside with all the amenities. Because I'm not gonna lie. Like I struggled already. I did that struggle love of
Yeah,
land, and I don't wish to struggle love anymore.
I
However,
hear you.
when I go out, I'm like, I want to be with the locals. I just feel like connecting with the locals gives you a real aspect of what's happening in their world versus
Yeah,
like the resort life. And don't get me wrong, because if you can cut up my pineapples, I go downstairs.
listen. And have breakfast ready. Ain't nothing wrong
Look,
with
I ain't gotta make
that.
that bed up. I'm not.
Yeah.
Look, listen. I'm sorry if I gotta go back home after a week and relive this whole life for another 6 months in order to save up my money to be able to go on vacation again. Thank you for making my bed. I'm gonna tip you good. I'm gonna tip you good, okay? And I
Yeah.
might talk your head off if I get drunk. I don't know. And so, like, what are the positives in having? And I this is like an oxymoron question, but like, what are the positives in really focusing on and understanding the taxes, your tax benefits when it comes to retiring, especially since we're talking about business owners?
So unfortunately, like passive income, well, actually, depending on the credit, right? So taxes is one of those things, depending on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Married with kids is different if you're single or if you're head of household. But the bottom line is your money goes further. outside the country.
Mm,
That's why so many boomers, I don't know if you noticed, they out. They're
yeah.
like, I'm going to Spain. This $2,000 I can live freely and not have to worry about life as opposed to living here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they're taxed, they would actually rather pay those taxes and have a better lifestyle
Yeah.
than struggling in the United States. But as a business owner, it all depends on how you structure it. If you're an S corp and you have W-2 income, right? If you're a sole proprietor, you're getting hit with that self-employment tax, which you can't use on any of the credits
Mm-hmm.
if you're abroad. It
Mm-hmm.
only it only works for the income tax part of it, which
Okay.
I try to tell people and they get confused, but I'm just like, listen, the name of the game is to try to get to a point where you're taxed as an S corp or C corp. So you can get out of that freelancer sole proprietorship, type mentality and
Mm-hmm.
save on taxes.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that because I think like I didn't want to be the same way you fell into taxes, how I fell into entrepreneurship. Because initially when I started Lovely Esteem, which is my company, I was just doing it for mental health resources. I know that I was looking for more people who looked like me to talk about mental health, to have these open, honest conversations about mental health, to have the conversations about perimenopause and how it affects your mind, your body, how it affects your spirit, how it affects your soul. Because when your body is going through these different transformations, I'm like, perimenopause is the equivalent of going through the preteen adolescent.
Adolescents.
You feel like what is happening, I can't
Right.
tell you what's happening, but it is off the chain, right? It is,
Oh man.
and I'm like, and we didn't get to talk about that. And then talking about how your unhealed self affects how you run a business. It affects how you run your household. It affects how you feel about traveling. Because if you let your fears or your parents' fears or your
Mm.
community's fears prevent you from traveling, you miss out on all this knowledge. So I wanted to talk about those things. Fell right into entrepreneurship. I was like, and I fought it. I was fighting it until last year. Maybe I can just do it for fun. But it
Yeah,
just became like, you better make some money if you're gonna spend all this time.
I know that's right. And I just love what you said because it's like for me, I'm first generation Haitian American, right? So my
Ooh,
mom
yeah.
and dad are from Haiti, wholly different mindset. Like my mom, when me and my sister would be out traveling, she's like, y'all out here lollygagging. You need to save up your money and be frugal. And I'm like, lady, I love you, but tomorrow is not promised. And I'm in therapy because of you. So I'm trying to unlearn.
I'm spending money because of you already. Let me spend the rest of it the way
Yeah.
I want.
I'm trying to unlearn because like you said, mental health is so important. And during COVID is when I had to find a Haitian American therapist because I was just like,
Talk about diversity.
she knows what I'm going through. And let me tell you, some of our sessions, she'd be like, girl, that's my mama right there. It's in
She
a
therapy
handbook.
with you. She like, we both in therapy today.
Listen, yeah. So it's been so helpful and so freeing for me. How I look at money, how I look at life, how I travel. Like I
Mhm.
had to unlearn all of those things. And I love my mom, like, but when I started to travel, I couldn't even tell her where I was going. So
Yeah.
it was like a 3 month flight. She's thinking I'm in Houston and I'm halfway across the world. And my sister's like, Lord Jesus, let nothing happen to you. Because if this
Because
lady
I
finds
can't go
out,
back home to mama. She gonna whip my butt for you.
listen,
I can't get whipped for you.
exactly. But finally, I had to come to a point. I was just like, I have to tell her where I'm at because if something were to happen, she would feel some type of way. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But it's just been so freeing. And I still have my therapist to this day. I was like, oh, we best friends forever. Like I ain't letting you go.
Locked in. I know you are tired of seeing my number. Yes, you are. But me's and you together. But I think that was like a huge thing for me, especially um learning more about mental health. Because I believe in being I believe that advocacy work is so huge because advocacy work is your sister, it's your mom, it's your cousin, it's your boyfriend, it's your husband. It's these people in the community who get to talk to you and speak the language that you speak instead of coming
Right.
at you with all of these huge technical terms that may
Oh,
throw you off. Because when
yeah.
people hear mental health, they say, did you say I'm crazy? No. Okay. So we're going to talk about emotional health. Emotions make sense to me. I can talk about
Right.
it. my physical health, I can talk about that. My spiritual health, I can talk about that. And it breaks it down. So I think, and I can't even imagine, because again, I'm just African American. That's not knocking nothing. Please, Lord, not all African Americans. Let's just do that, because it's every time.
Right.
But being African American, you have a different outlook on life, being a first generation, period. The amount of stress, the amount of responsibility, the amount of adulting that you had to do so very early on to learn how to maneuver your culture, a new culture, bridge the gap, fill in for your parents until they could fill in for themselves, then fill in for siblings, be the first or second to like work this thing out, and then break all of those generational threads that are holding you back, strong and weak. I didn't know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to be the oldest daughter and being an overachiever. Oh my God.
Yeah, being the first is never easy. Like you said, the first of anything. I am the first. I'm the oldest, so it's just like there was a different pressure on me. And then, me and my sister are 7 years apart, and it was so odd when we got older. Is when we learned how each of us were raised. It was two totally different,
You like,
crazy
who house was
environments.
you raised in? Because what you say out your mouth? That's how me and my sister are 17 and a half years apart.
Oh, I know you'd be
I
like,
said, you was raised by a different one. I don't know who she is, because she let you say what out your mouth?
Yeah.
I had blood on the top of my lip. I don't know what happened with you.
Girl, listen, I used to have WWE, like it was tag team action. My mom would whoop me and my dad would whoop me. But when my sister was being raised, I was just like, oh, so she gets a talking to? Oh, let me beat her. Like, I know you tired. That is
I want you
not
to
fair.
feel like me. I want us to be bonded. It's a bond.
Oh man.
But I say that all to say, like, when we're talking about looking at ourselves in a more holistic view, like you said earlier, learning how to eat fresh foods, adjusting your taste palette to the different cultures that you're going to, realizing that some of the things you grew up on that you thought were like the bomb.com, when you like stepped outside of it, you were like, wait a minute, what you say was in that?
Right.
Oh. No, it still tastes good, but like
tastes different.
I don't think I'm gonna eat that. I think we find yourself. They be like, so what you this week? I'm a pescatarian, vegetarian. I eat food, and then I tell you what I don't like. That's what I do. I eat food. I tell you what I don't. But it just trying to have that dichotomy of like, the duality of how do I stay cultured,
right,
and embrace all the culture that I have, because the Haitian culture is amazing and beautiful. But how do I step outside of that culture, and then how do I blend those things together so that I'm still me, but people who see me get to see all the new nuances of who I become, and what I love, and not bash, because sometimes people do that. They travel, they come back, and then they bash everything. It's like everything can be bad. I mean, sometimes it is, but like everything can be bad.
That's so true. Like one of the things I've had to learn in Latin America traveling it is they don't like vegetables. I was just like, can I get a piece of broccoli, some spinach? Like, I asked for vegetables, they give me red potato, not red potato, red and green peppers. I was like, this and onions. This is not vegetables, y'all. So when I come home, I eat so much broccoli and spinach that it's ridiculous. Plus, it's like, girl, I was just like, hell, give it to me here. Like, if I find it, I have to cherish it in Latin America. Like, can I have like a pound of this to go so I can eat it for the next week or so? So
I'm getting it in.
Yeah, listen.
Don't sit next to me, because it's not going to be right. It's not going to be right, but I'm going to do it.
Listen, and if you are getting it, you paying like double. And I'm just like,
wow.
All right, let me suck this up. This is a luxury. Eating this
but
broccoli.
I know it's like that when you travel to like Italy and Spain, and like a lot of those when you say vegetables, it's not.
No, pasta and bread. Pizza.
And if you get a salad, you better smack that salad down.
That is their vegetable. And I'm like, this is not a vegetable. This is not a vegetable. You guys are killing me. So yeah, it's changing my mindset, making the best of a situation, right? The positive out of it, and just realizing that things do taste differently. when you're abroad. Pasta, I'm not a pasta fan because I'm like, oh my God, carbs. But like when I was in Italy, it's just like, oh, this is different. This don't taste the same way. It don't feel as heavy. You know what I mean? So
Yes. Those are the adjustment, the trigger words, right? Because all of us, carbs, like our conversation, just like the last 5 minutes, carbs, eat all the vegetables. If you don't eat your vegetables, you're going to hell. If you eat too many carbs, you're going to hell. If you eat too much meat, did you drink dairy, you're going down. Did you eat bread, you're going down. And then you travel to another country and they giving you carbs, bread, no vegetables, and they're
all of it.
all still losing weight and they smoking. You like,
Yeah. And drinking. Don't forget they drinking. But they also walking.
yes,
Like,
and that's what I said. They moving.
they walking. They not in the cars like we are, right? Like
Yeah.
Colombia, for example, mountains and hills. I'm just like, oh, Sandra, my calf's gonna be like, wow, because of all these hills that I'm walking. Like, it's ridiculous. But lunch would be rice with potatoes or yuca with some fried plantain and then some fish and then a small salad. I was just like, y'all, come on now. That's a lot of carbs, y'all.
They said, but you here and you're gonna
Yeah,
be walking. So you need these carbs to get up that hill.
exactly. Yep, yep.
You might want to
So
scoop some inside of a little baggie because you're gonna be trying to.
you're gonna need it later. It's like Chinese food, right? You hungry in 2 hours. You're like, yeah, I ate all this, but then you walked half a mile up a damn hill, a steep hill at that.
Yes, I mean, I would love to see your photos because I'm a photo person. Like I just love just landscapes because I just think that the different terrains are amazing.
I'll send you some.
Please do.
Yeah.
I do. Like my husband and I, we travel on motorcycles a lot and I'm the passenger and I get to take all the pictures. And you then appreciate the states so much differently because you're in the mountains, we're in the woods, we're driving through clouds, we're coming out of clouds. You get up top, you're dry, you drive through a cloud, you're wet. You come back out, you got to dry back off again, and it just changes the way you see the United States because it can be beautiful, but because we're all in cars most of the time, or you're at work,
right?
You miss so much.
All of that, yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want to do that. And I thought that when you said you were team no cold, or what'd you say? What was the thing?
Yeah, it's like I'm team like warm weather. Like I don't want to be layered up. Life is too short for that. Like I'd rather the heat. And I know people are like, but damn, how do you get cool? Listen, I will pull out a fan in a heartbeat or stay inside. But being like having on 5 layers of clothes is just not attractive to me. Like that's just me. I'm spoiled. I'm from Florida. Like,
yes. And that changes that. Because I always tell people, I'm like, see, spring and fall are mine. My favorite time, 82 degrees, a little bit cloudy, a nice breeze. I love you all day. I'm here.
Oh my gosh, you're my sister. That's what she'd be like, oh, it's 85. It feels good. I'm like, girl, give me 70. Like, no fun.
Now I can go all the way down to like 45. 45, because I can still wear a sweater. Yeah. I love boots. I love boots. Like, if I could wear boots all year round,
I hear you.
I would, but the way your feet smell, you shouldn't do that. I mean, I can't blame you, but I was raised differently. When you took your shoes off, my mother would like put them shoes outside on the front porch. They don't come in this house. But I love that. But I'm like, a wonderfully like nice day. She said 70. I'm like, I had to pull my little sweat out, be like, ooh. And I'm gonna take a nap.
It all depends on where you at. Because 70 with the sun out in some of these places, you be like, why it feel like 1,000 degrees out here? It say 70, that's a lot. And then it say 70, but it say feel like 85. You'd be like,
oh, right.
How that happen?
Well, because you did say you was going to Latin America, and it is the warm. Yeah. And then it is the rain, and then it is the warm.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
So what you're telling me is that you have not had you haven't had a snowy moment in a minute.
No, like when I lived in Houston, I saw some snow flurries, and that counts. But like, I'm okay. I don't need to see snow. I'm not fascinated by it. It's okay.
You can keep your little stinky snow. All right, I ain't got time for it. Okay, because that means it's ice outside, and I ain't falling for
Hey.
nobody. Look, I haven't fallen yet. We gonna knock on whatever
No
wood is in
wood.
this room because I'm older now, and these knees don't just hit the ground and
Listen,
come
we don't
back
get
up no
up.
more.
No, we don't. We don't.
I
We're
said,
gonna need one of them bracelets. I've fallen and I can't get up.
and you know what? And this is the thing. I will not push that button. I I will not. I will not push the button because I can't be the lady in the shower.
Wait till your husband finds
Somebody look. I'm gonna try. I had to train the dog how to open up the door. Do some. I just feel like all my life I've done quote unquote right things. I've tried to make sure I pay attention, and my legacy is gonna be me in the shower, boot bucky naked, with firemen in the bathroom kicking me. I just
you. Oh, all right, that's fine. Go ahead and train Lassie. Maybe he'll be
I'm
able to
just
save
saying.
you.
Now, is it irrational? It's an irrational fear, okay? It's an irrational fear. I should just call the ambulance. It's not like they ain't seen it before, okay?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
But I just feel like that's going to be the part of my story. I'm gonna be like, Lisa, stop doing podcasts. I can't talk about it no more. I don't want to be here.
Oh goodness. Ah.
No. Oh gosh. Okay. So I want you to tell us where they can find you. What I know that you mentioned that you really love helping people who travel abroad and you love helping businesses in certain brackets just learn how to utilize the tax deductions and really get them to a space where they can travel and still be able to work and
Mhm.
feel comfortable with themselves. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So, like I said, as a single Black woman, no kids, no husband, I'm looking for you, husband. I'm praying.
No,
I
she not. No, she not. Because if you can't travel the side of that mountain, she is not stopping for you,
oh,
sir.
oh, you're right. You gotta have a passport. So
Remember,
that's
you
a
got,
whole list.
as I told my best friend, I said, you have to say everything because she said, I want him, blah, 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 blah. I said, do you want him to have hair? She stopped and looked at me. I said, you got to say it because if
Oh
you want a
gosh.
man with no hair, if you just say, I want a husband, you got to think about what's coming. You got to
You're
really
right.
like,
You're right. I need to be more specific. I thought I was, but you just had me thinking about some other stuff now.
I'm
But
just saying, does everything work? I'm just saying. Anyway, go ahead. Tell us about it. Tell us what's going on with the tax.
so, it's just really about helping other women entrepreneurs, right? Who want to either start traveling or are living abroad, and I mean, the abroad is the niche, but I love helping women business owners. We as women, we're, we out here. We got these businesses, we're paying these taxes, we don't know what we're doing, and we need the help year long. And I think that's the biggest thing. There's a difference between tax preparation and tax planning. You need
Mm,
someone, especially if you're making money, to help you. You need to be able to talk to that person all year long to be like, hey, I'm about to do this. Should I do this? What do my numbers look like? Does this make sense? What am I
mm,
going to owe before the end of the year? Right? It's all
mhm.
about planning. And that's what I advocate. I'm like, when people come to me, they're just like, I need you to prepare my taxes. I was like, that's not how it works. This is a year-round process. We about to be friends. I'm gonna have to talk to you a couple of times a year. I need to see your numbers
I'm your
because
financial therapist.
I really want to make sure that you're keeping most of your money in your pocket legally,
Mm,
I
mm,
might add. And
mhm.
so if I'm just talking to you once a year, I can only do so much
Yeah.
so that's the whole thing, like putting away money for investing or putting away money for travel, just saving that money to grow your businesses and to do some other things. Unfortunately, a lot of us are getting hit and we don't even understand why. So I want to help educate women business owners on how to do better, on how to get the right help all year long. It don't have to be me, just find somebody else that will do it.
Yeah. No, I love that because for me, I always tell people I've been doing my taxes on my own for years, but I wasn't a business owner.
Right.
And you learn how to I have a household. My husband is an entrepreneur, like he for real, like 25 years in the game. That's what he does. And that's
Okay.
why I didn't want to do it. That's why I was like, I don't,
Yeah, you saw him.
I was like, I don't, it don't look appealing at all. Like
Yeah.
is the fun happening yet? No, 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 we still going uphill. I mean, now
Yeah.
the fun is happening, but you really have
Right.
to, it depends on what you're trying to do and what you're trying to
Right.
accomplish and the spaces that you're in. And he's one of those people, he has such wonderful big ideas, and I am so literal. Like I'm probably your mama. I'm like, oh no, don't do it. And he is like,
Right.
you know,
Free falling, free falling. We're gonna try this.
yes, and it works. Honestly, 90% of the time it works. But I can promise you that they looking at me, my eyes this big, and I'm always asking. I'm like, how much this gonna cost? How much this gonna cost? But it just gives. It really takes I think that it takes somebody who is passionate about taxes to explain taxes
Yeah.
to people, because like I said, people are like, Lisa, show me how to do taxes. I don't want to do this. I'm doing this because I
Right.
know
This
that it's
me.
important in my
Right.
family. We can't afford to be owing taxes at the end of the
Right.
year. I'm one of
Yeah.
those people. I'm like, take all my money now.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out in the
Later.
wash. I'm a
Okay.
homeowner. I don't have any assets. I invest. My investments are pre-taxed. I'm good. Like,
Okay.
so like but when you start talking about business and things, like this year will be the first year I have to do taxes, and I didn't make a lot of money, but I want to still put it on record
Right.
to get
Good.
myself used to paying
Yes.
taxes and calling in 4 times a year. I made no money. Yes. No money. They're like, oh, I made $83.22. Ow, push the button. Like just
Yeah.
starting off, because, and I think that a lot of people don't even talk about that when you are beginning and you're not making any money. It's not embarrassing. Like
No.
it's the
Part of the
beginning of
process.
your journey. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're coming out the bat making $100,000, I need a class, because
Listen. Show me.
show me. I mean, unless you want me to show, I'm a grown woman. I can't be out here showing my body. I can't do all that stuff. But, but like seriously, like being an entrepreneur is about successes and then failures and stumbling and trying to figure out where you need to be. But then having somebody like Sandra in your pocket that's like, hey, this is a good move because you'll be able to deduct these from your taxes throughout the year, or even say, hey, you're spending a bit much, or you're great going to a different tax bracket, and this is what
Yep.
it looks like. Because
Yeah.
I remember it had to be like 2 years ago, and it was an article where a guy said he was supposed to get a raise. He said, no, I don't want the raise, give me a bonus.
Oh,
Because
bonuses are taxed on a whole nother level.
they are, but he didn't want to go into the new tax bracket because it would have been like it was just over the tax bracket. And I was like,
Mhm.
what does that mean? Like I start now and I'm
Yeah. Yeah. They don't
what's the
tell you.
difference?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I I just was like, is this a new fear? Is this a new fear? No, no. Give me my raise. Give me my raise.
Yeah. Because you can better manage that. The
Yeah.
bonus. Mm.
Yeah. And I tell people, I remember I've been working for a long time, almost 30 years now. I've been working for maybe 34 years. Yeah, I've been working since I was 14. I'm 48. So like a long time. And I tell people, I'm like, I remember when you would get a bonus and the bonus wasn't taxed.
Right.
And that was a bonus. Okay.
Yes.
That was a bonus.
That's the name of it, right? It's a bonus. Like, don't
And now,
tax me on
when they say you have a bonus, you're like,
it. Right.
I need the little gift with it, like they just walk out, look at you, and slam the door and walk off, because
No. You're just
I'm
trying
like,
to
I'm
get
paying
over.
taxes on it, health insurance that came out, that sucker 401k
Right.
that came out of it.
Yeah.
I said, so you
Yeah.
gave me a partial paycheck.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Where you're taking most of it. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
It's a learning
I don't want to
process.
be ungrateful.
Yeah. It's a learning process. Like, and that's one of the things, like, I don't want to say I dumb it down, but I
No,
talk in
but
everyday
seriously, we
language.
need that.
Yeah, because like ain't nobody trying to hear me talk taxonese is what I call it, right? Like they're like, your
That's the
eyes
look
just
I'm giving
glaze
you,
over.
glazed over.
Right, right. Wait, speak so I can understand.
Yeah,
So
what
I
code
really
you
try to
say? Well,
explain it.
what's that code?
Because
What's the
I don't
code?
even know the code numbers. I don't do that. I'd be like, look here, this is what we finna do. Check out this cheat sheet. I got it and broke down everything that you can think of, that I can think of for you to write off, right? Use that to your advantage. If you have other questions, all right, holla up. We can figure something out. You know what I mean? Because it's so much to the point that even some days I'm like, I don't want to do this no more. If they change these tax code one more goddamn time.
And you know they are every 4 to 5 business years.
Yeah, we gonna see what's gonna happen with the new
Yep,
whatever. You
all
know what
the
I'm
new
saying?
stuff that's happening. I know that's what I keep saying. I'm like, listen, I really try to live my life. I don't watch the news. I can't watch the news. It really
Me
messed
neither.
with me. I'm on year 12. And I didn't stop watching the news because of like the super crazy. I stopped watching the news because I would turn it on to watch the weather, and right after the weather, it'd be
All
like
the
it's
bad
gonna be
stuff.
45 degrees outside and 3 families died in a fire. What?
Oh, damn. Oh, they snuck it in. They snuck it
Like,
in.
and now you're going to sleep at 11 o'clock at night with
Yeah, with
that
that on your
last thing on
spirit.
your mind. And I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? If it rain, I mean, as long as it's not a hurricane, if it's gonna be a hurricane, somebody gonna say something. Somebody
Yeah.
gonna tell me, my phone gonna beepity beep, something gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I need to start digesting things that are beneficial to me living a longer, healthier life. And
Yeah.
what does that look like? But also, how do I teach my kids how to do that? Because the internet will suck you in.
Listen, no, our phones will suck you in with all the notifications, with all the things going on. Literally, my mom laughs at me and my sister because she's like, y'all don't watch the news. If the world's coming to an end, you're not gonna know. I was like,
You're gonna
that's a
call me.
lie. Guess what? The world coming to an end, I'm gonna get a text that's
You
gonna
will.
tell me
You
that
will.
the world's coming. So if it's not that important, I don't need to know. Like
I'm
that's
with
just
you.
how I feel, you
I'm
know?
like, listen, sir, if I'm gonna go into like, if I'm gonna be somewhere, like I'm gonna go to the mall. I'm like, okay, let me see what's happening in the area. Let me just check real quick, look on the neighborhood app, anything real crazy happening. I mean, because some stuff just is everyday.
Right.
I'm like, if Rich is running around naked, I can't help that. Like, sorry. All right. Was he in the mall? No, he was on the outside of the mall. Okay, let me get in the mall. I don't have to see him. I'll get in my car and come out. If I see Richard, I'll report back to
Right.
y'all that I saw Richard. Like, it's
Right.
okay.
Right.
But but I just feel like what you're doing is so awesome because it opens up the mind to new prosperity. It
Hmm.
opens up the mind to not just new cultures, but like new food.
Yeah, I'm a foodie. I'm a foodie. And let me tell you, I didn't realize I was a foodie until I got to Lima, Peru, and I was just like, I could live here because y'all about that.
They
I
about
just
that
came from
seasoning.
Argentina.
They
Yeah,
about
I
that
just came from
seasoning.
Argentina where it was steak for like 6 months, and I was just like, I never want to see a hamburger or a piece of steak ever again. And this bland food. And I love empanadas, but they had me hating empanadas when I left there. I was just like, when I got to Lima, I was just like, ooh, I could live here. Like this food is amazing. Like I was taking pictures of food. I was just like, oh my God. I brought back some empanadas from Lima to my
Mm.
sister and one of my friends. I was just like, yo, check this out.
You gonna
Like,
travel with me next time. Look, just come back
yeah.
with me for a week. I'm gonna feed you up real good, send you back home. You can't stay with me the whole 3 months because I might
Oh
hurt you. But you
man,
gotta go.
listen, that food was amazing.
But that's what I think that we miss out on. And some of what we get. I mean, I live in Maryland, and we have a lot of international
Right.
restaurants, and we have a lot
Same
of
thing.
culture because we're on the water.
Right.
So you have a lot of people kind of coming in, but it's still so very different when they home, because when you cook from home, your food is it's the
Different.
bomb.com.
Yeah.
You go
Yeah.
outside, you'd be like, I could have made this.
Yeah.
I could I could have made
That's how my mom is when we take her out. I was just like, look here, lady, you gonna enjoy this restaurant. Okay.
They
Like
not.
stop.
My mom nose be this far across her face at the amount of frowning she did sitting at the table. And then I tell people all the time, like the waitress will come over and I whisper to her, hey, just talk to me. Don't talk to her. I'll translate for you. And she looking at me like she doesn't speak English. I'm like, I'm trying to save your feelings, baby. Because she gonna ask
Yeah.
you for a glass of water with some lemon. That's what she gonna say. Then you gonna come back with one lemon and a glass of water. She gonna complain that the water's tap water and that you ain't give her 5 lemons. So if you just tell me what she want, I can help
Oh
you
my
out.
goodness.
Just talk to me, look her, and then turn back to me. But if you wait for her,
Yeah, you gonna it's
I don't even like
unleashed.
this chicken not even fried right. I don't even,
Right.
oh, these shrimp taste bad. Is this small shrimp?
Oh my gosh, that's my mom. We order for her. We'd be like, me and my sister be like, what you think? Okay, I think this would be good.
I send a
Yeah.
menu before we go in. I send her
Yeah.
a menu. I'm like,
That's
I
so
need you to look at
smart.
this and tell me what you don't like. Just tell me what
Right.
you don't like. And then
Right.
We'll narrow
Figure it
it
out.
down because, and this year her face would be frowned up the whole time. And then we'd leave and she'd be like, you know what? I really like that shrimp dish.
Really? Where that came from? But you was mean mugging the whole time. I'm so confused. That's why I'm in therapy.
Look, don't worry about I tell people, and even my mom, like when I started going through my mental health journey, I was 37 because I spent 3 months crying. I couldn't stop crying. I didn't know why I was crying. I mean, part
Mm,
of it was hormones.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, looking back, Perry was whipping me and I didn't know. But a
Dang.
lot of it was the simple fact that I was like starting to relive this trauma in my head, all the things that I thought I should have had, the life that I thought I should have had,
Ooh.
the family the way I should have treated people, I should have stood up for myself. That sexual assault
Right.
should have never happened. These things, right, that keep and you're
Coming up.
trying to get to this space and then it all just
Ooh.
crashed.
Wow.
And I said, maybe if I talk to somebody, and I didn't want to say I talked to anybody because I didn't want to hear pray on it. I didn't want to hear go to the pastor. I just,
Oh my gosh. Yes. Suck it up. Push it down. You get over this. It's gonna
yeah,
be all
I
right.
didn't want to hear that. I
Yeah.
said, if somebody say that,
Yeah. Woosah.
and I had to like really pull myself in, but it was that journey of like learning how to separate myself from my emotions, but separate my emotions from other people's comments because
Mm,
that was like huge for me because all of us grow up with you moving too fast, you're too fast,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
being lazy. It's
Yeah.
called rest. When
No,
like that's
that's not.
I know it's not, but listen to me. It's okay to take a nap. It doesn't mean you're lazy. It doesn't mean that you aren't accomplishing things, but I promise you, your 40 and 50-year-old self will appreciate you resting earlier on in life because the older we get, you've already done damage to your organs, all the stress that
Yeah.
we put on ourselves. And now we're
Oof.
trying to figure out why our hearts are heavy and why we're having early diabetes, being diagnosed
Yeah.
early with heart, congenital heart failure. We're having issues with our liver, our lungs, all
Yeah.
of these different things, on top of the fact that we were in a car with people who smoked cigarettes. They were smoking Marlboros with the window rolled up. But but really you think about that and like
Yeah.
how now we're trying to reverse these things so that
It's too
people who
late.
come after us get to have a different life. They get to hear
Right.
different conversations. They get to hear positivity. They get to hear the truth in a way that doesn't damn you or hurt you or break you down.
Right. Right. Right.
And I think that what you're doing with regards to financial literacy is huge because you can't
Thank
hide all
you.
your money in the house because if the house burns down, your money's gone.
Oof. Girl, that part.
Had to learn. People talk about, yeah, my grandfather's house burned down and he had all the money behind a picture.
Oh, damn. How's that insured? That's not insured, is it?
It's not
Because you
insured,
can't
and
prove
even
it.
if it's
You
in the
can't
safe,
prove
you
it.
hope the safe comes out.
The safe is fireproof, I hope, maybe.
Did you grab it? Like, was anybody like? I mean, but I think that we are so afraid. I mean, some of it's justified. We don't know the financial system the way we thought we did. Some of
Right.
the banks do some shady
Shady
things,
stuff. Yeah.
you know. But I think having conversations with people who understand it, who can relay the message and talk to you in a language that makes sense, like you said, I don't know what code what the
Yeah.
deduction for whom. Listen, how much money I'm gonna get back?
Yeah.
Just tell me what I'm supposed to not do.
Right. Exactly.
Sandra, this Lee. Listen, I'm gonna get a raise. No, this I got a grant. How does this grant work in my business? How
Yeah.
how much money I'm gonna have to pay back? Is this a grant? I mean, it's a tax-free grant. I got to
Right.
spend all the money. I just got the
Right.
grant 3 months ago. I don't know how this gonna work. Those things that people don't,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And I think about that as a business owner, but also having somebody who looks like me, who understands. It's like you having your Haitian therapist. She could relate to you so deeply that at some point you was
Yeah.
like, were you in my house?
Listen, it's a handbook. They all got it.
And it makes such a big difference. But I appreciate what you're trying to do and what you're working to accomplish because you are walking into uncharted territory a lot of the times with us laymen, even people who are trying to start a business. You think that like, if I just file taxes 4 times a year, I call it in, everything's good at the end of the year, I'm going to write off my gas money.
It's not that easy. Yeah.
I'm like, no. So what I wrote down, call Sandra with your little bit of dollars. She's gonna tell you how to tax that $83.42.
Oh my goodness.
No, but tell people where to find you, how to contact you, so we can do that before we get up off this podcast. I don't want to take all your day.
Yeah. So the easiest place to find me is LinkedIn. I am the only Sandra Morno on LinkedIn. Trust me, I've Googled to see if there's someone else. And you can just, send me a conversation, like a DM, or try to connect with me, and we'll go from there. Like, because my website is kind of a long name, but if you reach out to me on LinkedIn, you'll see I have some freebies. You can try that, see if it helps you, and we can connect. That's the easiest place to get in contact.
Awesome. Do you do any tutorials or videos on taxes or anything like that?
I have some old videos like talking about money leaks, and sometimes I share that with people. It all depends on where they are in their journey.
Okay.
And sometimes just like I do 15-minute free consultations. And so if you really ready, like I ain't trying to like it's not pick your brain time, in that 15 minutes. You tell me what's going on, I answer those questions and I get you moving along. Because if it's more than 15 minutes, I'm gonna have to start charging for my time. You know what I mean?
Time equity, people. I talk about time equity all the time. She said, I don't have time for this. The way my bank account is set up, cha-ching.
Listen, because I've been doing this for a long time, and I realize a lot of people don't appreciate free. So I had to learn to value my time. But, I'm about to be 48, and I'm just like, I ain't got time to be playing with y'all.
Welcome to the club, baby girl.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I promise. I always tell people, I promise that 48 is not the same as 50 years ago, 48. It does not look the same.
No, it doesn't. It sure
My grandmother
doesn't.
had a pillbox hat and like some other thing. I'm like, is that the time? And when do I put that on? When do my kitten heels come out? Because I don't want to wear them. But if I have to wear kitten heels at 48, throw the whole baby away. I don't want it.
Yeah, I don't want it either. I don't want it either.
See somebody now, I love kitten heels. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about aging. And aging gracefully means enjoying your life, because it's not guaranteed. It's not promised. That whole like, I'll call you tomorrow is really not promised.
It sure isn't.
So enjoy it as much as you can. But thank you so much for being on the podcast. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. We did go off the way. We like ran off.
Oh, it's okay though, but it was so good, and I learned a lot about you as well. So I'm like, we need to stay in touch.
You need to stay in touch. I'm like, look, I was thinking to myself, I said, I'm gonna send her a little message offline, be like, so when the next time you traveling? I can't travel that long because I started going to detox. I'm like, I need my family. Where they at? But I'm like, you got a girls trip happening here?
Listen, hit me up. I already got my one-way ticket. I'm leaving next month. So you can come visit.
Where you going next month?
I'm actually going back to Mexico. I'm gonna do about 3 to 6 months there, and just kind of see what the vibe is. Like I haven't been to this part of Mexico like for that long of a time.
But see, you become the plug, because now when people want to travel, you can. This is not another business you need to start, but I'm just saying, people come to you. You travel guide just a little bit. I can only do like up to a week. They pay you. Boom.
Listen, you onto something. Like that's why I want to spend a little bit more time in Mexico, because I want to actually start maybe creating a community, right? I'm working on a community. It's called the MoneySmart Travelnista community. So it's like women that want to travel, right? And I'm trying to create this space for them so they can get all the help that they need, which means I need to talk to you, because you could probably be the mental health person, because we need to get our minds right before we even try to live abroad.
We can do a whole nother separate, because I'm all about getting us together. I want us to live. I want us to be so free that when people look at us, they call us hippies. I want them to be like, why are you out here like this? Because I just feel like so many of us are stuck. we can't figure out what it is that's holding us
Hmm.
and anchoring us down. And I'm not talking about like your heritage or any of those things. I'm talking about mentally and
Yeah.
your spirit. What's holding you back from laughing? What's holding
Yeah.
you back from joy? What's holding you back
Yeah.
from dancing in the rain? I know our hair's natural. Look, it's gonna scrunch up. Just
Yeah.
let it be. You can always stretch it out at night. But like
Right.
really these constraints that we have on ourselves that prevent us from really just living our lives and seeing each other in these as these beautiful beings. Because if you
Yeah.
can walk, talk, run, travel, and do all that, you are already so blessed. There are people who will
Yeah.
never be able to do these things.
That's so true. That's so
So
true.
like enjoy that life, live that life. But seriously, if you want to do something, we can.
No, yeah, we gonna talk because I'll share what I'm
Well, yeah,
starting
we'll
and
click when I hit pause.
okay.
Yes. So thank you guys for being a part of the podcast because we want to gossip without y'all knowing what's happening. I'm just saying. That's what we're gonna do. This is what the ladies do when ain't nobody around. Y'all be good.
Bye.
Hey guys. I so connected with Sandra because I feel like so many of us are trying to forge this path, right? We're trying to create these different avenues of success, trying to change what joy looks like, trying to change what community looks like, trying to change what our terrain looks like. And we don't always get to do that because sometimes we're afraid or we are stuck in somebody else's belief patterns. Sometimes we are stuck in ignorance and we just don't know what we don't know. But being able to speak to people like Sandra, who have not only traveled, but she also understands the financial implications of what traveling abroad looks like. She also understands what it looks like to have to save up and kind of rely on your everyday 9 to 5, or if you're an entrepreneur, your 12 to 12, and really just see how you can change the outlook or the outcome of your retirement, your traveling plans, and your life based off of financial decisions that you make, just small financial decisions that you make that can have such a huge impact on what life looks like for you later. And thank you, Sandra. I really appreciate that. Plus, I think I might have found a little travel partner. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Please share, like, subscribe, send the pigeon to my house with a message so I can respond back to you. I am going to start a newsletter soon. I'll be updating you guys about that. And don't forget, I'm still selling my books. I can't really show y'all my books because the lighting be off in here, but Hey, That's My Best Friend, which is a book about sisterhood and just connecting with your best friend. Thinking Positive. This is for the overthinker thinker. Mantras for the awakened soul. These are just, you want to change the way you see yourself. You want to add more value to your mental space. Mantras are great for that. And affirmations for Zenful baddies. You want to be peaceful, but you might pop a person. And remember, I want you guys to articulate your feelings, wants, needs, and desires so that you can better advocate for yourself and the people that you love. Be good. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you found some healing, connection, and joy. Until next time, bye, loves.